Hello and welcome to CineQuest video. Today we're going to be talking about a new thriller, horror type of film, Clawfoot.
Shall we?
Clawfoot follows a housewife psychologically terrorized by a manipulative contractor, leading to a twisted battle of wits with deliciously unexpected results.
Yeah, I don't know anything about twisted battle of wits. This movie does throw you some fun little curves here and there.
Yes. In fact, Roland, for those of you who don't know, whenever we would have a tendency to watch a movie, Roland does have a tendency to kind of blurt out what he thinks is going to happen in the movie.
Yeah.
And that could be to his detriment and the detriment of anyone around him, because it's almost like an involuntary response.
It's a fucking nervous tick.
Yeah, it kind of is. And it happens sometimes in theaters, not always. And
Yeah.
I think the times where he is correct, I'm still kind of baffled by that, because you can kind of see how the story already progresses, because lots of stories are not anything new. But
Yeah.
I'm more entertained when they throw a bit of curveball in there and you don't see that coming, or you just didn't expect that. And that's kind of what this movie does.
It does a little. I was so fucking worried that this was gonna end up as like some kind of romantic comedy. I was bitching at you the whole time, like, God
and
damn it, Ray.
the first 5 minutes of the movie, it was, I swear to God, this better not turn into a romantic comedy. Does this turn into a romantic relationship? Does it? I was like, I don't think so. And like the fact that I said
they have a
I don't
fucking
think
scene
so.
together.
Yeah, but it's so brief, you know, like,
and I know it was,
and it's not real.
It was
it's not real though.
It wasn't real. It was a daydream scene, but I was like, fuck me, no.
you're like, oh, intimacy. Oh.
I think I'm having a seizure. Call the paramedics.
Any sort of like intimate emotion or contact, just like fucking start throwing your shit everywhere, causing chaos.
Flip the table.
Yeah, flip the table, all that kind of shit. It's funny because when I saw that scene coming, and again, just to describe it a bit, the contractor is describing like a true crime scenario, and the girl is getting off a bit on the fact that he's talking about dismemberments and blood and all this kind of stuff. And then where she jumps over and like starts making out with him. But the minute that happened, I mean, I already knew it was a daydream scene because those had been happening on her like regularly throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And they were cool because we see a character, which is just real quick going over the stars of this: Milo Gibson, Olivia Kuplo, Francesca Eastwood. The character who plays Francesca Eastwood, Janet, she is a wife who's in a mansion alone, and this contractor, Milo Gibson, who is called Leo in the film, he comes up saying that he is supposed to, her husband hired him to install a clawfoot tub, which she can't stand. She doesn't like that design.
Clawfoot bathtub.
Yeah. And she doesn't like that design, and she doesn't understand why she wasn't told about it and all this other kind of stuff. The contractor is already annoying as hell the minute he walks in with his, just the way he presents himself. He seems like an asshole. And we're kind of like curious, like, is he gonna like, we thought it was like a home invasion, or like, is she gonna turn it? We don't know what's happening, but we know that he's annoying and she's annoyed by him, and us as an audience, we're just annoyed by this whole dynamic that's going on between the two of them.
And then they have a lot of sort of like pointless exposition, I guess, when they introduce Tasha's character, because like it's just Janet and Tasha, like,
they're just friends
bullshitting with each other.
Yeah, because they're just friends.
They're just boring as fuck.
Yeah, they're friends.
They just
going
do
about their
girl
day.
Stuff, you know?
Yeah,
she's talking about like
Tasha's a
going
lawyer
out for coffee. And
yeah, but Tasha's a lawyer, and Janet doesn't do anything. She's kind of just a housewife.
No, Janet's a housewife.
Like a trophy wife kind of thing.
Right.
And,
yeah.
I mean, the husband's not around, and they can't get a hold of him. And throughout
No.
the movie, like there's some really pretty cool daydream sequences where Janet is kind of in a rage and commits like these
She
violent.
just wrecks their shit.
She does like these
Yeah,
violent
those scenes are
things.
great.
Yeah, those are cool scenes because
They're really
they're bloody
great because like you see
they're violent.
like yeah, you see her character makes such a fucking pivot because like in the movie, like her character Janet like has very little expression. She's stressed out, you know, and all all that shit, but like she never really ever shows it much.
Right.
And then when she has these daydreaming scenes, it just flips a switch, and all of a sudden she's fucking crazy.
Right. And of course we
and
see
it's
that
cool
as
to see that contrast.
we're not exactly completely sure if this is anything she's going to act out on. Because I mean,
Right.
this seems like typical
No spoilers.
typical fantastical things that people would go through throughout the day for someone who's just pissing them off. Like you can think about slitting their throat or beating them over the head or all that kind of shit. It's something you would never cross the line to do.
Never do.
Right. So like it's just her kind of like acting out internally with her frustrations about this thing
Having
going
her
on
James
between
Cameron True Lies moments.
Yeah. You
She
mentioned
fucking,
that
like takes a glass and fucking shatters it over the back of the guy's head.
Surprisingly, that's the first thing you said. That was the reference. And again, if you don't know the reference, there's a scene in True Lies where Arnold Schwarzenegger is talking to Bill Paxton about him banging Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife, which he didn't say explicitly, but he knows that that's what he's referring to.
Yeah.
And then Arnold Schwarzenegger like punches the shit out of him and like almost breaks his fucking face. And then he
kills him.
And he cuts to him like just staring at him while Bill Paxton is laughing maniacally, you know, like just like ha 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 ha.
And like ha ha ha, those idiots.
Yeah.
You know.
What you gotta do is Arnold, man, those idiots.
They're so stupid.
This movie was fun.
How long was this movie?
I think it was an hour. It was an hour 22.
I just wish
minutes.
that I wanted the characters to have better dialogue. Like the lines that Leo's character uses, I barely remember them, but like it was just like really piss poor excuses for like sticking around or like just being a nuisance or just like getting in the way and shit.
But I told you it seemed like he wasn't trying hard to like stick around. Yeah, he was deliberately trying to be this annoying ass character.
Like, it's just that the reasoning to me the excuses were so thin that it just annoyed me because it just seemed lazy to me. Like it just, I know it was intentional and it was meant to be annoying and like it worked. And like he fits like a sort of a stereotype character compared to the other lines from the other actors. I think that maybe his whole shtick should have been better.
Maybe. I mean,
because like I can understand why I don't like Janet's character for a while, and then I can understand why I don't like Tasha, and then like you get more information or like you see things change and it's like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. And I don't really get that with him. Like he just like fits his niche and sticks into that. That's pretty much it. I guess it's meant to like, I was gonna say draw attention, but like what I think I meant is that like it keeps him maybe from being a main character, even though he kind of is.
Well, yeah, he's kind of a main character,
but it kind of like, keeps him from being one because he's just like a no-name loser.
Well, he's the villain in the movie. I mean, the trailer pretty much comes out and says that he's the trailer tells you, the audience, that he's the main guy, right? And
he doesn't do a good job seeming like a villain though.
Right, because the thing is like his villain arc isn't necessarily clear, or it's not fleshed out entirely.
Not very strong.
Yeah, it's not. He's not a very strong villain.
Strong.
But you also have to. We also have to consider the fact that like the vagueness of how things go in the film towards the end, because they could all kind of be villainy in a way.
Like the actual representation of the situation in the movie is, they do a very good job. I expected it, like as far as seeing this, like, oh, this is too obvious. Let's see. And I'm not going to say anything about that other than that. But it was cool to watch because of that. Because then at that point you get to just see like, okay, how are these guys, how the actor's gonna handle this situation.
Right.
And Tasha and Janet, Olivia Culpo and Francesca Eastwood were pretty cool. I wish uh I was gonna say I could have seen more of that, but that was sort of the important part of the story.
Yeah,
So instead, I will probably say I wish that the beginning of the movie could have been clipped a lot more.
right. We had
Because I was
mentioned that
complaining to
that
you.
possibly like we could have had like a jump in time type of movie.
Yeah,
Jumping forward and
something like
backwards to kind of like work backwards where we're introducing these people or they're in a certain
Yeah,
situation and we kind of like work backwards. That probably could have like grabbed our attention more
yeah,
in the very beginning because I know we did agree kind of like the first act was kind of slow. It starts to pick
yeah,
up a little bit more in the second act, and then the third act goes a little bit more chaotic, and that was
right.
cool. I'm glad that happened, but we wanted more of the Janet and the Tasha character, kind of more
Yeah,
the way they ended up towards the end
right.
throughout more of the movie in the beginning because
Yes,
they were kind of
because
floundering around. They're
it
kind of
was a
just
great.
floundering
They
around
worked
most
well
of it.
off each other
Yeah,
in those scenes.
they did, and I thought
Like
they had like a good chemistry. In fact,
yeah,
there was a moment where Janet puts on some like gothy type of music, and then she starts dancing and stuff. And we've seen like that
yeah.
quirky kind of like
I
character
was
of hers.
laughing at that,
Yeah,
and it
it
was
was fun
cute.
to see that version of her because like she's real stiff throughout most of the
Yeah,
movie.
and then all of a sudden she just opens up.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it does that real fucking like is it what movie is that, dude? Like where the guy puts on like a plastic coat, he covers the room in like plastic sheets and then tortures a guy.
isn't that Dexter?
Yeah, but I was talking about a movie like Reservoir Dogs or I forget which one, where like it's the famous fucking scene where like the guy puts on like Huey Lewis or some shit and
Oh,
then
that's
he's like torturing this
that is
dude.
Reservoir Dogs, but like he's just in the warehouse and he's like he puts on the Caught in the Middle with You song and he like cuts the guy's ear off.
Yeah.
That is Reservoir Dogs,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It is, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so like that's what whenever I see people like putting on the plastic coats and then like just putting on music and and that's always what I think of. And American Psycho.
Yeah. Now I would say it represents more American Psycho than that other one because the other
Reservoir
guy's just
Dogs.
like just crazy, like just takes off his coat and starts cutting people. But
Yeah,
Bateman in American Psycho does put the plastic over and then like kills
you're
Jared
right.
Leto, you know.
Yeah. Yep. I like seeing those scenes because like it's just funny. They're just very uh I just love this, the contrast just makes me
Right.
laugh. I wanted this movie to get it does get funny when it does. I just wanted it to be sooner.
Right. Yeah.
Because it takes a while to build up. It's a very slow fucking plot at first. And you just want it to get the fuck over with until it, like the pace picks up and then you're just like awesome.
I will disagree with you a little bit. I think that like I would say midway it starts to pick up a little bit more, and I was kind of more engaged in the movie as opposed to the beginning.
Yeah.
Like I had more. I had mentioned to you before watching this. I go, this is more of a playful. Again, just by the trailer alone, this seems like a more playful type of film.
Yeah, if Barbie was a slasher.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah, if she kind of took on these roles of like almost like a serial killer in a way, even though she's not in this movie, she's not a serial killer.
No.
But like it kind of like in theory kind of plays to that with her daydreaming and all that kind of stuff, and just her being kind of a cooped up housewife who
Yep.
is kind of a little bit kind of just a little bit diabolical, but not like entirely. Like you almost see like her motivations, but like it's hilariously her motivations play out in a bit more of a comedically violent way.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie,
because it's all very shallow.
Yeah.
It's very simple plot, very straightforward. And like the matter of fact way that she sort of just goes through all this shit is actually reminds me a lot of American Psycho, because you see that like sort of sociopathic cut between like normalcy and like batshit crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
But like uh with this character there's no differentiating or whatever. It's all the same shit, and it's fun to see like that kind of fucking crazy contrast. Um because yeah, that's just what it reminds me of fucking Christian Bale doing his Bateman like
Yeah. I will say like another portion of this movie that I did like was the fact that that it was very bright. Like everything kind of like took place in the
Yes.
daytime, and it was and
Yeah,
I think
actually,
over
that
a
was
matter of fact,
very
like it
appreciated.
just over like 2 days that this occurred. But
I think so. It was a couple days.
well,
Something like that.
I think it was like 2 days, or it could have been 3. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I did appreciate that it's kind of like a very well lit movie, and you can kind of see a lot of
Yes.
the bright, saturated red blood colors and stuff. Whenever like they
Yeah.
like blood was gonna splatter, even with her daydreams,
Yeah.
like they kind of they were very emphasized, and I enjoyed
They're very
that
graphic.
portion of it. And
I mean,
like I said,
at one point I thought it was gonna turn into like a fucking like a creature horror film kind of thing
really.
with one of her daydreams, man.
Oh, you thought she was
Like
gonna go
she
like full on like cryptid or something?
yeah, that would
Dude.
have been great.
Dude, I don't know where the fuck your mind was, but I haven't seen that coming at all.
Well, like when she in one of her daydreams, like she bites the guy, right?
Right, but like even that alone, like I just think it's like almost out of annoyance and frustration. But like,
I mean, yeah,
she's
but
gonna
like
turn
I
into
was
like a
watching that
fucking
moment
vampire
being
or
like,
something.
yeah, she's gonna wolf out. Come on, let's go.
Or maybe she,
fuck.
you know what? It would have been a weird turn if she was like a werewolf at the end of this movie.
Or like a succubus or some
Yeah,
shit.
some kind of weird.
This movie did
demon.
have an end cap, which it was pretty funny. All of it was pretty funny at the end there. Again, like
you can't really say
Tasha's
too much,
character,
yeah.
man. Like she's annoying, you know, like sort of vapid, you know, bubbly kind of character, and then like in the end, she just has their like real quick. Oh, this thing, cool. Let's go. You know,
Yeah.
she has no fucking like question.
Yeah, she just goes into it
Anything.
real quick,
It's
you know.
And it's that I love that. It was so fucking
Well, you know
funny to see her just
the addition of her child just being there playing his games, while she has no
Yes.
qualms about like presenting herself in a
Yes.
situation where she's like either covered in blood or whatever, like whatever she's
Right.
doing, and the kid is just so desensitized or like completely in
Yeah, she's
not
got
in the
her
moment.
headphones on.
Like they're just there playing a game and like don't give a shit about whatever else is going on. And
Yeah.
there was a moment where I thought it was pretty funny, and it was just like a quick detail whenever they're ordering food, and like they have the gloves on, and they're like, "Wow, these gloves like they really like work well with the touch screen." And you go, "Yeah, you wouldn't think about it," you know. And you see like all the shit that's going on with her phone and stuff. Like it's just a funny moment. I know we
Yeah.
can't really get too much into details about like any more of like the actual story because that would give up most of it away.
Yeah, it's not.
We have to
very
be kind of
complicated.
like extremely vague. And again, it's a simple story, and I think
It
it
is.
ends up being a fun movie overall.
I
And
honestly think like a lot of people there's a lot to enjoy about this movie.
yeah, I agree.
Like I think a lot of people that aren't even horror movie fans would probably like this one.
Yeah,
Like
and
if you like romantic comedies or like dark comedies of any kind, you know, this would probably like, or like any kind of like daytime drama or just like any kind of drama, you'll probably enjoy this.
yeah, I think this falls under more of a dark comedy kind of thing.
I mean,
but
it just sort of reminded me of like watching like a soap opera almost.
right. That's cooler.
Right. I mean, yeah, way cooler.
A lot
obviously.
cooler.
But like the acting and then like the direction and like the shots, a lot of it just sort of made me think of And because like also the setting, you're in a giant mansion. Like actually, most daytime drama, soap operas, they're in like
Like
they're
a house,
shot in
yeah.
crap like that. So, I'm trying to see like what kind of other stuff that these actresses have done. But I don't really recognize much of any of these.
I think I mentioned to you that Francesca Eastwood, she
Yeah,
was in a movie I saw. Let me just bring that up because I forgot. Oh, it was the M. Night Shyamalan movie, Old. I
right.
saw that. That was okay. But yeah, throughout the movie, I was like, she looks extremely familiar, and I feel like I had seen her before, and
She's in
it didn't
Fargo.
resonate whatsoever until I saw her filmography.
She's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Surprisingly, all
realize
the
her.
actors and actresses in this film like have a good background in
Yeah,
like a
they
good
have
filmography. Like
they
they've been
have
around for a
quite a bit
while.
of experience.
And I think that
I mean,
played out
she
well.
was.
Like I think the acting was fun. Even though you found the main contractor guy annoying, I think he did a good job being that annoying ass character. Again, we can't go over too much of the story and the ending because it would give too much away, and I
Yeah,
would
you don't
prefer
want to
to
ruin
have
it.
that
No,
sort of a
watch the movie. It's
surprise.
fun.
Uh,
It's
I'm
fun
gonna
to
give
watch to see these actresses.
I'm gonna give my rating for this film, and I'm gonna say out of 5, I would give it a solid 3 out of 5 for me. The recommendation to actually watch it if you have a chance, because I think it's a fun movie, and I think it's kind of a film that could be more open to people of any genre.
So I was right. The guy that plays Leo,
Mm-hmm.
he is the 6th son of Mel Gibson.
What about Eastwood?
Yeah.
Francesca Eastwood, is she related to
I
Clint
don't
Eastwood?
know, but I was thinking, yeah, her father's Clint Eastwood.
Ah, Nepo
I fucking
babies.
told you.
Nepo babies. You
I
did tell
told you
me.
when we saw this, I was like, fucking Nepo, like Francesca Eastwood. I was like, Milo Gibson, what are the chances that like both of their fucking fathers are like those assholes? And you were like, it's gonna be a coincidence. I was like, I
You're
don't
right.
know, man.
Hey man, you call it. And I'll give you credit for that. You saw it coming a mile away.
And like, and the thing is, like this guy, Milo Gibson, looks like his fucking dad. He looks.
Yeah, he does have a bit of a Mel Gibson kind of look to him.
He does have that Mel Gibson.
He does have that Lethal Weapon. Do you want to jump?
I don't know anything about this the other girl, but that's just funny.
Yeah, you need to get that guy to be in a remake of Lethal Weapon. Do fucking shot by shot.
Funny.
Get him to go crazy just like his dad.
Get him to lose a little bit more weight. Get in a little better shape.
Do you want to jump? Anyways, your rating, Roland, out of 5. What do you think?
What did you give it again?
I gave it a solid 3 out of 5.
3.
Yeah.
I will give this a 2.3.
A 2.3. All right.
Yeah, this is approaching good movie territory.
I would say, I'm gonna say like it's a decent movie. With the way we started off, I think it ended up more fun, and I think the very ending of the film,
yes,
where it kind of stays on a particular shot with her and her husband, like I thought that was delightfully dark.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's
yes,
I'm glad I'm glad that's the way the movie ended.
Some of the best moments.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that moment a lot. So like the fact that it ended on a high note for me gives it more of a solid leaning towards the much better film category.
Yeah,
because it's a little. I mean, obviously, I guess in the scope of things, this is like about a 6 out of 10 kind of movie for me.
Sure.
Yeah,
I can see that.
It's not the best movie, but it was enjoyable. So
needs work, but it's
as most films do.
Yes. I'd say this is pretty good though. Like pretty good, pretty far up there, pretty high up there. I would have probably liked it better if maybe they had shaved like a good 20 minutes off of this thing.
Another hour-long movie.
Yes. This is another one of those movies that are like, no. There's too much unnecessary dialogue.
I will say
it would have been much better as like a solid hour.
I'll disagree with you on that. I think the the dialogue and the dynamic between Janet and Tasha, even though it seems like a unnecessary moments between them, I think it just establishes them like as good friends. And granted, we don't necessarily know the loyalty that they both have to each other but it does show them as a little kooky, like in that moment when they're throwing
knives,
a throwing knives situation where I thought was gonna
the really shitty mall ninja knives.
I thought there were gonna be like a bit of foreshadowing that, and they were gonna use that, which they didn't.
Didn't, but the foreshadowing was in their intentions.
And just their dynamic with each other. Yeah. So I appreciate that. Anyways,
Michael Day,
that is the end of our review for Clawfoot. This movie should be streaming pretty soon, and you should check it out if you have the opportunity to do so. And again, if you are watching, we appreciate you, and we appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. That would help us out a lot. And you can support us in any other way. There's links down below in the description, or if you're listening just to the audio version of this in the podcast platform, there should be a link to our link tree, and you can check out any one of those and see what's going on with MoQuest. And you can follow us on all the social medias as well. And we'll see you on the next review.
Laters.